there's a moment when everything shifts. When a narcissistic woman watches someone who genuinely loved her walk away for good, something inside her breaks. Not the way you'd expect, not with tears and apologies right away. The change is stranger than that. It's messy, confusing, and often comes too late. And what happens next? That's what we're getting into today. Let's talk about what really happens when a narcissistic woman loses someone who saw past her walls, loved her anyway, and finally had enough. The initial shock and denial. When you first leave, she doesn't believe it's real. She's used to people coming back. Every other time someone tried to leave, they returned after a few days, maybe a week. She's used to having control over that pattern. So when you actually leave and mean it this time, her brain can't process it. She'll tell herself you're just being dramatic, that you'll cool off and come crawling back like everyone else did. During this phase, she might not even reach out. This confuses a lot of people who leave narcissists. They expect constant texts, calls, love bombing, but sometimes radio silence. Why? Because in her mind, acknowledging your absence means acknowledging she doesn't have power anymore, and that's not something she's ready to face. She'll go about her life, post on social media like nothing happened, maybe even act happier than usual. She's performing. For you, for herself, for anyone watching. The performance is her shield, but here's what's happening underneath that nobody sees. Her nervous system is starting to panic. She keeps checking her phone. She replays conversations in her head at 3 a.m. She starts noticing the empty space you left behind in ways that annoy her. The coffee cup you always used. The side of the bed you slept on. The way you do that one thing she claimed annoyed her, but secretly made her feel cared for. But she still won't admit it. Not yet. Instead, she doubles down. She might start talking to new people, going out more, doing everything she can to prove she's fine, maybe even better than fine. This is her ego's last stand before reality starts creeping in. The rage fades. Then comes the anger, and it's unlike anything you've seen from her before. When she realizes you're not coming back, something switches. The denial cracks and rage pours through. But this isn't just anger at you for leaving. It's anger at herself, anger at the situation, anger at the fact that she actually cares and can't control it. She hates that feeling more than anything. This is when you might get those messages, the ones that swing between, "I never loved you anyway," and "How could you do this to me?" in the same conversation. She'll blame you for everything. You weren't good enough. You didn't try hard enough. You gave up too easily. The mental gymnastics are impressive, really. She needs to make you the villain because looking at her own behavior is too painful. She might try to hurt you during this phase. Not always physically, but emotionally. She'll say things designed to cut the deepest parts of you she knows about. She might try to make you jealous by flaunting new relationships or posting carefully crafted images of her amazing new life. She wants you to feel what she's feeling: loss of control, rejection, inadequacy. Here's what most people don't understand about this phase. It's not really about you. It's about her finally feeling something she spent years avoiding: vulnerability. The anger is just easier to manage than admitting she's hurt, that she misses you, that she might have actually needed what you gave her. Some narcissistic women get stuck here. They turn you into their villain origin story and never move past it. They'll talk about how you ruined them for years. But others? They move into something different, something harder for them to navigate: the bargaining and false self-awareness. After the rage burns itself out, she enters a phase that looks like growth, but isn't quite there yet. She starts thinking about what went wrong. Not in a fully accountable way, not at first, but she's thinking about it. She might reach out with messages that sound different. "I've been thinking about us. Maybe I didn't handle things the right way. I'm working on myself now." This is the bargaining phase wrapped in the language of self-improvement. She's realized that her usual tactics didn't work, so she's trying a new approach. And here's the tricky part. Some of it might be genuine. She might actually be in therapy. She might actually be reading self-help books or listening to podcasts about relationships. But the motivation is still partially about getting you back, or at least getting you to see her differently. She'll make surface-level changes. She'll apologize for specific incidents, but frame them in ways that minimize her role or add caveats. "I'm sorry I said that, but you know how you get when you push my buttons. I shouldn't have done that, but I was going through a lot and you weren't really there for me." Real accountability sounds different. It's simple. It doesn't have a "but" attached. It doesn't require you to acknowledge your part before she acknowledges hers. But she's not quite there yet. During this phase, she's stuck between two versions of herself. The one who wants to maintain her self-image as someone who doesn't need anyone, and the one who's starting to realize what she lost. It's uncomfortable for her. She might oscillate between reaching out and pulling back, between seeming vulnerable and then getting defensive when you don't respond the way she hoped. If you don't come back during this phase, something interesting happens. She can't keep existing in this in-between state forever. Eventually, she has to choose a direction, the real transformation. Here's where it gets real. If she genuinely loved you, beneath all the defense mechanisms and ego protection, losing you can become the catalyst for actual change, not the performative kind, the uncomfortable, identity-shaking kind. She starts looking at patterns she's ignored her whole life, the way she treats people, the way she sabotages good things, the way she mistakes control for connection. It's not a smooth process. She'll resist it, backtrack, make excuses, but gradually she starts seeing herself more clearly. This is when the real grief hits her. Not just grief about losing you, but grief about all the time she wasted protecting herself from the exact thing she actually wanted. Connection. Someone seeing her fully and choosing to stay. She had that with you, and she destroyed it because she couldn't trust it was real. She starts understanding that her behavior wasn't strength. It was fear dressed up as confidence. Every time she pushed you away when you got too close. Every time she tested your love to see if you'd leave. Every time she hurt you first, before you could hurt her. All of it was just fear. Fear that if you really knew her, you'd leave anyway. So she made sure you left on her terms. Except it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like loss. This phase is marked by genuine remorse. Not the, "I'm sorry you felt hurt" kind. The, "I'm sorry I hurt you, and I understand why that was wrong" kind. She might not even tell you this. Real growth often happens quietly. She might just sit with it, feel it, and decide to be different going forward. She starts noticing how she interacts with everyone, not just romantic partners. She sees the patterns with friends, family, co-workers, the way she needs to be the center of attention, the way she struggles when she's not in control, the way she's been recreating the same dynamics over and over, expecting different results. Some narcissistic women reach out during this phase, but differently than before. Not to get you back necessarily, but to genuinely apologize without expecting anything in return, to acknowledge what happened without defending or explaining it away, to tell you that you deserved better, and they're sorry they couldn't be that person when it mattered. Others don't reach out at all. They carry the lesson forward into new relationships and different choices. They work on themselves not as a performance, but because they finally understand the cost of not doing so. But here's something important. This transformation doesn't happen for everyone. Some narcissistic women never get here. They stay stuck in earlier phases, recycling the same patterns with new people. Real change requires something painful. The willingness to sit with shame, regret, and the realization that you were the problem in situations where you convinced yourself you were the victim. The ones who make it through come out different. They're more humble, more aware of their triggers and patterns, more willing to be vulnerable instead of armored all the time. They understand that pushing people away doesn't protect you from pain. It just guarantees you'll be alone with it. They learn that love isn't control, that being needed isn't the same as being loved, that real connection requires risk and trust, and showing up even when you're scared. All the things they fought against for so long. And the thing is, by the time they learn all this, you're usually gone, really gone. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally cared about yourself enough to leave. And that's the final lesson she has to learn. Sometimes the consequences of your actions can't be undone. Sometimes sorry isn't enough. Sometimes the person who loved you finds peace without you, and you have to live with that. What this means for you. If you love someone like this and left, you might be wondering if she's changed, if those messages mean something, if you should give her another chance. Here's the honest answer. Maybe she has changed. Maybe she hasn't. But that's not actually your question. Your real question is whether you should go back. And that answer has more to do with you than with her. Do you want to? Or do you just miss the potential you saw in her? Do you miss her? Or do you miss who you were trying to be for her? These are different things. People can change, but change takes time. Real, sustained, proven over months and years' time. Not just words and promises. If she's genuinely different, you'll be able to see it in her actions over a long period, in how she handles conflict, in how she takes responsibility, in how she treats everyone around her, not just you when she wants you back. You're allowed to move on. You're allowed to say that, even if she's different now, it's too late. You're allowed to protect the peace you've built for yourself. Loving someone doesn't mean you owe them unlimited chances to figure out how not to hurt you. And if you're watching this because you recognize yourself in these patterns, that awareness is the first step. But awareness without action is just knowledge about your problems, not solutions to them. The work is hard. It means facing things about yourself that you've avoided. It means sitting with feelings you've spent years running from. But it's possible. People grow when they're willing to do what's uncomfortable. So what do you think? Have you experienced this? Are you the one who left or the one learning these lessons? Drop your thoughts in the comments because these conversations help everyone watching. And if this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. We talk about real relationship dynamics here. The messy, complicated, honest stuff that actually helps you understand yourself and others better. Like this video if it gave you clarity or perspective. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, understanding why people do what they do doesn't mean you have to tolerate it. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is let them face the consequences of losing you. That's where real growth happens. I'll see you in the next one.